Blog Talk Radio.
You are now listening to the most talked about blog talk radio station in the universe. Walk in His ways, Impact Voice Radio. Be prepared to have your mind stimulated, your spirit elevated in ways you couldn't even imagine. Introducing your host and the mastermind behind this unforgettable experience, Furman Jackson Jr. You will not be disappointed. Let's go!
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Walking This Way, Impact Voice. I'm your host, Furman Jackson Jr., broadcasting once again live from my hometown of the city of Mobile, Alabama. Hope everybody's having a great morning, of course. Start your day off right. We know that the month of October is Domestic Violence Month, of course, and I had seen an article the other day that domestic violence is the leading cause to death to women in our generation, and we're seeing more and more women losing their lives. We got more and more women getting out of domestic violent relationships and moving on to greener pastures to share their testimony of women who may be experiencing domestic violence. Domestic violence is not geared to women, even though it's a known cause for women, but also have men being in domestic violent relationship. Because we may have some women out there are, forcing the same abuse on their significant other as well. So my guest this morning is a woman. She's a woman of God, of course. She's a mother of three beautiful children. She has a master's degree in criminal justice. But she has this one thing that really hurt her in her past life, and that's experiencing domestic violence in her life. And she's going to be able to come on this morning, and she's going to share her testimony. We're going to get into the interview and to really gear in. So I ask everybody to tune in, pass it on to someone who may be going through domestic violence and who may have experienced it or may be going through it right now. So I'm about to get ready to pull my guest in this morning. And I want to welcome my guest this morning, of course, Shermonica Slaughter. Welcome to Impact Voice.
Hi, Mr. Jackson. It's Slaughter, actually.
My bad.
Slaughter. It's okay.
My bad. I'm sorry about that.
Music, how you come into it, I love that.
Oh, I appreciate you, and I think you take time out, Miss Slaughter, to take time to be the schedule, be a part of the broadcast this morning. We know that this is the Domestic Violence Month, of course, and we know that women are experiencing domestic violence. We know that it's going on right now. We know it's taking place in somebody's house right now, of course. And I know you seem like you have it all together, mother of three, master's degree, but you had experienced this dark thing in your life. And I want to let the listener audience know who is the woman behind your story.
Well, my name is Shermonica Slaughter. First off, thank you for having me be on your show. I appreciate you giving me this opportunity to have my platform to get my story out here. Just thank you for everything that you're doing. I think it's amazing and everything, and so I'm really grateful for that. I guess you could say, Shermonica, I'm a survivor. I've always been surviving my whole life, and I'm looking to help other men and women, because you were right. Domestic violence don't only just cater to women, it's also geared to men as well. But I'm a mother. I'm a woman of God. I'm out here. I want to advocate this because I want to bring awareness to domestic violence and to let these people know that, hey, it's a great life after domestic violence. You get the help that you need. So I would say if you could define Shermonica, I'm a survivor, and I'm just here to do God's work, what he told me he needed me to do to help his people.
And awesome. And I know that we know that we're in the month of October for domestic violence. I know one time October was geared toward breast cancer, which I know that goes on still. But domestic violence is really getting out of hand. If you see, especially here in the city of Mobile, I know it's going around, but by actually living here in Mobile, we see it getting out of hand. We see a lot of women losing their lives to domestic violence, but God has really spared you to get out of that toxic relationship. So my next question is, When did the act of domestic violence start taking place in your life?
Well, I've always been privy to violence in my life. Just looking back over being a child was, mentally abused, physically abused, sexually abused as a child. So abuse always kind of followed me. But my very first, I was 16. I was in Job Corps, and I was with this guy, and he was just abusive, and he pushed me through a glass window. And they saw it on the camera, but I, thinking I loved him and I need him. Oh, no, it was an accident. I tripped, I fell, and everything, but they had already saw it. And so that was my very first taste of, like, just having a man, per se, put his hands on me. And it just trickled on to every relationship that I had been in. It was some sort of emotional abuse and mental abuse. I was married. He was very emotionally abusive to me, and then it wasn't until I got with my oldest daughter that's where the advocating began after I left him. That was the 4 years that I experienced that abuse from him daily, every day. Every type of abuse you can think of, he, did it to me.
Wow. And just give everybody the image that you was going through at that time. We're on the outside looking in, but you actually was going through this experience. Give everybody, the glimpse of what their experience was for those who may not experience domestic violence as we were going through it your mind at that time.
Well, I didn't love myself. I never loved myself. I didn't know who I was. I felt that I needed a man to complete my life. It started with my father leaving and abandoning me and everything, so I just looked for love in men. But during those 4 years, I was terrified for my life, but I felt I needed him. I felt, well, if I just continue to love him and pour love into him, then he'll stop abusing me. He'll be there. But it was a really terrifying experience of just being abused daily, because it was, a lot of physical abuse, punching and choking and slapping and kicking. He would lock me in closets. He would put knives to my throat. He would drag me through the house. He would, fight me before I have to go to work, fight me when I come home from work, and just, sexual abuse. I didn't want to sleep with him. He would force sex on me. It was a really dark time, and I didn't have anyone, because most of the people that was around me, they were in abusive relationships. So what can I go and say to you? Well, hey, I'm getting abused. You're getting abused too. So I didn't have anyone. I just kind of kept it all in. Even after I left him, I never told anyone to maybe like a year or two after I was out of the situation, because I was ashamed of what I allowed and what my son saw. He was like 5 at the time. Then I had a 1-year-old. Well, she was a few months old. Then she was like 1 when I left. But, just for them to see that and experience that, it was a hard time. It was a dark time, because I just felt I needed him. And if I just keep being there, he'll love me one day. But it just got worse and worse. He would leave and come back. He would leave. I would let him come back. And every time it got worse until it almost cost me my life.
Yeah, and I know that and it's just the same cycle that a lot of other women go through. They believe that they could change this man, change this individual, but you cannot change him. He got to want to change himself. The old saying is, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. The thing
Exactly.
you can do is love him, but you can't make him change, and he got to want to change on his own. But they were lasting too late, and I know a lot of women feel like, all right, well, if I just love him enough, and because at the end of the day, it's gonna cost you your life, and we see that all the time here in our city. So my next question is, how did your children respond? Did their behavior change towards the abuse? Cause domestic violence towards their mother can actually change their behavior. Did it affect them in any kind of way?
Well, my daughter, since she was just like an arm baby, she doesn't remember, the abuse and everything like that. But my son, he was 5 at the time, so he saw a lot. He really did. He didn't want to be at home. He always wanted to go be with his dad. He just did not want to be there, period, to see what I was going through. And it affected him. As growing up, once I did leave, I saw that he clinging to me. He didn't want to leave my side. He felt like everyone was going to hurt me. He didn't want me to go. And, we had to deal. I had to deal with all that because what I allowed him to see. or would I try to cover up the bruises or this and that? And, children are very perceptive. They see things. They know things. So don't think for 1 minute that you think your child don't know. They know. And it was hard. And he's still kind of like that to this day, very protective of me. He said to be 15, so he's very protective of me, of just, no one's going to hurt my mom. I'm here now. I'm older. I'm bigger. Unfortunately, I'm not in that situation anymore or, to have to be around anyone that's abused me, but I still see it with him sometimes.
Yeah, and I know that's hard for your children to see their mother go through that pain, that suffering, crying, all beat up, all bruised up. I know that's very hard for any child to see their mother go through that. Then my next question is, when I know you said you was in it for 8 years. When was the last straw that after 8 years you finally left your abuser? What made you really just, you know what, enough's enough, I'm out of here? So what really motivated you to get out of it?
No, I was only there for 4 years. I've been away from him for 8 years. I don't know if maybe I worried around or anything. No, it's okay. It's okay. I just had to have a wake up call, and like I was telling you before, I kept allowing him to come back, and he had a baby with someone else. I allowed him to come back. He got married to someone else. I allowed him to come back. He had just beat me down to a point where I didn't know who I was anymore. So I reached out to the Penelope House, and I started going there and started speaking with a counselor there. And I was trying to make my move because the apartments that I lived in, if they found out someone was living with you, they would evict you. And he was living with me. And he would hold that over my head and say, well, you can call the police. I'm going to let your landlord know I've been living here so you and your children can be homeless. I'll go back to my mother's house. Like, that's what he would hold over my head. So I was just going to go. I sent my son away for the summer. I sent him to stay with my sister because I knew I was making the transition to get out of there. You're not going to leave or I'm going to go. And so I started sleeping downstairs. I kind of just started distancing myself away from him. So the night that I left, that I walked away, I was a downstairs sleep. He came, woke me up, screaming, hollering, and he just, grabbed me, dragged me off the couch by my hair, just began hitting me and everything, calling me all kind of names. And I grabbed my daughter, and I ran out the house. I was just going to go. And I fell when I got outside, and she kind of fell out of my arms, but not in a hurting way. She just kind of rolled a little bit. And he came out the door and was like, you threw my daughter on the ground, and he hit me in my head, and I just felt blood. It was just blood just started gushing out. And I just panicked, and I just ran. And he played sports. You know what I'm saying? He was like the big football star in high school, so he was very athletic. And he ran behind me, tripped me up. I hit my head, and he left me laying in the field, bleeding from my head, just bleeding. And while I was unconscious, I'll never forget it. I know it was God showing me, but I saw my own funeral. I saw myself in the casket. I saw my children sitting on the front row of my funeral, and I just remember a voice saying, if you don't leave him, he is going to kill you. I'm showing you right now, you're going to die. He's going to kill you. And I don't know how I got back to my house. He still claims to this day he never brought me back there. But I woke up, I was in my house, and I told him, you got to go. I had no more fear. And, of course, it was, I'm sorry, and it'll never happen again. I was like, you got to go. And I packed all his stuff up, and his mother came and got him. And when he closed that door and I locked it, I just sat there. I cried for 3 hours, but I was like, God, you give me the strength. I would never look back. I would never allow him to come back, and I never did. That was 2011. It said it'd be 2020.
And that's a blessing that God, stir that boldness in you to remove that toxic out your life to move forward, to press forward, and the things that He already predestined for you to have. My next question is, when did the healing process start taking place? I know you say you started getting strong, you had no more fear, but after that, when did the healing start taking place? I know you're a very beautiful woman, and so I know men were probably pursuing you, wanting to talk to you, get your number and stuff. So how did that? So when did the process start taking place?
They was, Mr. Jackson, but I'm the kind of woman where I don't believe in baggage. I believe that, and I know everyone doesn't feel this way, but I don't believe in making someone else pay for what someone else did. So I want to work on myself. And that's what I told myself. I was like, no men, no dating, no anything. I got myself in counseling. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have a relationship with him, even though we had our daughter. I kind of dealt with his mother so he could see his child and everything. But it was a hard time because I cried many nights. You know what I'm saying? I fought it. I wanted to go back. You know what I'm saying? It was an up and down thing kind of struggle, but I had made a decision. I was like, you can't go back, Shermonica. There's nothing back there for you. So, unfortunately, I had a great therapist at the time. It was a black lady, and she was like, I know you're not working. I wasn't working at the time. I had lost my job and everything. And she allowed me to come and see her. She was like, if you could just give me $15, $20, when you come, I'll help you first. And she was like $150. And it was just, I know it was just God lining everything up. And then he was sending the right people that was, encouraging me and helping me and just, having that. I had a great church home at the time that I was with. And it took a little bit close to 2 years, but I fought through it. And I was like, this is what I need to do. I have a daughter now. I have a son. I have to be an example for them. I have to love them more than I want to go back to this toxic situation because it was all I ever known in my life. If it wasn't dysfunction, I didn't want to be up in it. If everything going good, I'm gonna find something to try to mess it up. You know what I'm saying? That was my norm. I had never seen healthy relationships. And once I got into counseling, be like, you don't have to settle for this. You don't have to deal with this. I was like, okay, now I can teach my children. You don't have to do this. My son, do not put your hands on a woman. My daughter, do not let a man put his hands on you. First sign, get out of there. And if you have to hit her son, you walk away. This is not you. You've seen what your mother went through. And it was just doing all that. And, of course, he tried to come back numerous times over the years, but I just remember. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people get amnesia when they get out of a relationship and they think about the good times. But, no, I'm like, God, help me remember. Help me remember so I don't ever go back. Help me remember that pain. Help me remember covering up the bruises with makeup, having to wear long sleeve clothes. You know what I'm saying? Just help me remember everything he did. And I never went back. And, my healing, I would say I would perceive my healing around by 2013. I was completely free. I had forgiven him. I was done with him. I was in such a great place. And that's when I started thinking I could maybe help other women with this situation. So, I would talk to different people, nothing big, nothing, just, people inbox me or, I would, just try to talk. But I'm grateful for that time because now I'm healed, completely healed from it, and I can help someone else, just doing God's work.
And that's a blessing. Just by looking at you, you would never know you went through that just by hearing your story this morning here on Impact Voice. And my next question is, you became an advocate to bring awareness about domestic violence. So how can the listener audience get in contact with you? Are you doing any speaking engagements anywhere at this time?
Well, I have another podcast that I'm slated to do, and then I do have a women's conference that I'm speaking at November the 7th. And then I just got asked to speak somewhere else, but the details haven't been finalized yet. But, I will have everything posted on my page. You can inbox me on Facebook, Shermonica Slaughter, everything. I'm on Instagram, same name. I'm on Twitter. I'm not for putting my number out there because there's a lot of crazy people out here and everything. But if you just really need my help, you can inbox me. I'm in the process now of getting my nonprofit off the ground and everything for, women of domestic violence. I have a goal. I want to help as many women as I can. I want to try to get, shelters open, that they can go therapy they can get to, just, to help these women because a lot of women think it's their fault. That was my whole thing. I thought it was my fault. So, feel free. Reach out to me. Inbox me. I'm here to help. I give great advice. I've always been giving advice my whole life, even though I had a hard time taking other people's advice. But I give great advice, and I'm just here to help. Please don't be afraid. My motto, like how you was putting it in the slogan, is don't be afraid to lead, be afraid to stay. Because, a lot of times the women, they do end up sometimes losing their life, even if they try to leave. It's a tricky situation and everything. And I think that's what happened with mine. But God spared me, so I can be here today to talk with you and to help other women. So please feel free, reach out to me. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'm here always. My page is open. It's public. I'm here. Just reach out. I'll do anything I can to help you.
And that's what's up. And you keep doing what you're doing, of course. And I always keep God first. And I know that God has great things in store for you. And sharing your testimony with others who may be going through that situation right now. And my last and final question, I ask my guests this all the time here on Impact Voice. I'm big on Proverbs 22, talks about a good name. And we know a good name is better than riches and stuff. Mm-hmm. My question to you is, what do you want your legacy to be after it's all said and done?
Wow, that's an amazing question. What do I want my legacy to be? I know that I want for people to, when they look at me, to see that she didn't give up. That no matter what life threw at her, even with my children, I have them saying affirmations every day. I'm a big speaker on words. I would just want the world to know that put God first. No matter what you're going through, no matter what you're dealing with, I want people, when they look at me, they see God, and they see that I never gave up. I would want my children to know the same. That's what I want my legacy to be, that I'm a survivor, and I'm a conqueror.
And that lets you know that the abuse you went through, you can survive that. You can survive anything else, because it shows how strong and determined that you are as a woman. And I just thank God that you're still here. You're welcome. I thank God you're still here to share your story with other women or men who may be going through that sinful, devilish act right now. And it's hard. It's a hurtful thing to see that this person you say you love will harm you in any capacity. That's just really sad. And we know that we got a lot of women losing their lives every day to this act. And like you said earlier, a lot of women are afraid. They're afraid to leave. Because they don't know nowhere to go. And what advice can you give to someone who may be listening right now? What advice can you give to a person right now who wants to leave but don't know where to go?
My advice would be love yourself. I may not know your financial situation, because I knew in mine I was working. He wasn't working. But it was just my situation with the living thing. I didn't have anywhere else to go per se if I did lose my apartment. So, I don't know, I may not know your situation, but I do know when you're tired, when you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, you'll do whatever it takes to get out of there. You'll do whatever it takes to leave, and if that means it's disappearing completely, because you do have a lot of men out here that they'll try to take your life if you leave them. They'll try to take your life if you're there. So I would say it's always just a tricky situation. But love is never supposed to hurt or harm you or belittle you or put you down. Love is to uplift you, to motivate you, to push you to do better, to make you better. That's how God's love is. And I look at, why settle for something? If God is not unfaithful to you, if God is not beating on you and cheating on you and putting you down, why would you want to settle for a man that's doing that for you? God loves you. And I know it takes, because it took a long time for me to get there too. So, it's a mental thing. That's why I'm advocating for therapy as well. I know some people don't like to go, especially in our culture. Black people don't go to therapy or nothing, but I'm telling you, getting the help you need. I don't feel like God will put therapists here for us not to use them. And that's going to be a big thing with my nonprofit, is getting these women the therapy that they need, the help that they need, and whatnot. But I would say love doesn't hurt. It's never supposed to hurt you at all. And if love is hurting you, the first time you see it, please leave. Walk away. It just may say.
And I agree. And I agree with what you said. And you said, how black people don't like go to therapy. Communication is very important. We ain't got communication. We ain't got nothing. And that's what goes on within the community. Even though we are hurting, we're turned to drugs, we're turned to sex, we're turned to all these activities trying to fill that void, or just sitting down with someone and say, hey, I'm going through this, I'm struggling with this, and I need to be helped, and I need to get this out. Here in the Bible tells us, confess our faults one to another, then pray. That the prayers of righteous avail as much. So there's a lot of healing got to start taking place. And drop the pride. If you're going through this, or you experiencing this, or if you're a man or a woman who's doing this, you need to get some help, because you're going to cost somebody their life. And when you cost somebody their life, you're going to spend the rest of your life in prison. You got to think about all that. Children are in state, other family members in state, friends are in state. So just think about your actions before you react to domestic violence. So, Shermonica, do you have any final remarks before you get up the air?
No, I just really want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. You know, I kind of sat down on advocating for a while because I was just like, oh, I don't know if I can really help these women. And then the doors just start opening. And I said, well, I'm not going to turn down what God is trying to do in my life, because I know that I can help a lot of people with my story. It may not be as graphic as some stories I've heard, but it is just important, and I can help. So I just really want to thank you for everything that you're doing out here to give people like me who just starting off, who really don't know which way to go, giving us the opportunity to say, hey, let me tell you my story, because even I can just reach one person and get one woman to leave, then she can maybe get another woman to leave. If she can get another woman to leave, or if she can get him to leave, it's just all a chain reaction of us helping each other. So I really thank you for giving me the opportunity to come share my story. Thank you so much for that.
And you're welcome. I thank you for being a guest. I thank you for the opportunity, because you didn't have to accept the invitation to be on, and that really means a lot to me. So I tell all my guests all the time, they say, I don't thank you. No, I thank you because you took the time to do it, because you didn't have to. You made the choice to say, you know what, I do it. So that means a lot to me. And we're about to get to close out. We got 3 minutes left on the broadcast. We're about to get to close out this morning. Want everybody to have a great day. Be blessed. Enjoy your Saturday. Enjoy the day of rest. Enjoy whatever you got to do today. Love someone. Forgive people. Always grow. My motto is, I'm not a grown man. I'm a growing man. So encourage you to grow, develop, and succeed in life. And we'll see y'all next week on Impact Voice. Y'all have a blessed Saturday, everyone.
You are now listening to the most talked about blog talk radio station in the universe. Walk in His ways, Impact Voice Radio. Be prepared to have your mind stimulated, your spirit elevated in ways you couldn't even imagine. Introducing your host and the mastermind behind this unforgettable experience, Furman